Just spilled hot tea on myself. It's hot tea. Too hot to touch, that tea.
Hot. Gotta let that steep.
Little known fact about the Seriously Wrong podcast is we are tea fiends over here. We can't stop drinking tea. It's a non-stop thing. Even more popular edit points than taking out long pauses, or it's the times that we're just the big tea sips. It's like when I'm editing, I cut out so many tea sips. And me and Aaron are just done with editing out the tea sips. They're part of the show now. There's nothing wrong with the way we love tea.
Yeah. I think it'll actually be soothing. It's just like cozying up with your mom, with your girl, with your boy.
It's like you're drinking
on the
tea.
bed. Yeah. You just feel that nice, warm, like radiating, loving, pulsing glow emanating from your stomach. Everyone, as you hear that.
Tea. We're also no longer going to cut out the tiny teas that we say. Tea. We're proud. Warning. This episode of the Seriously Wrong podcast is metaphorically hot tea. And if you're not careful, you could burn that tongue.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Seriously Wrong podcast. My name is Aaron, and...
My name is Sean.
And we're here today to bring you something very interesting, something a little different, something kind of beautiful, actually. It's called The Parable of the Salt Shaker.
But what I'm going to need you to do before you listen is open up your podcast thing, unsubscribe from every other podcast, because this is the only one you need.
Hey, so you've had, like, family dinners, right? You've had dinner with members of your family at some point in your life?
Yeah, when I was a good boy, they let me at the table.
Did you ever pass things to each other? Like, say, something that your mom might want would be beside you at the table, and she would say, Sean, pass me the ketchup, or pass me the salt.
Yeah, almost definitely. Every meal, she would say, pass the ketchup.
Pass the salt? Yeah, so that's a
Just
service.
Mostly ketchup, but yeah.
That's a service you were providing
the
for
same
her?
principle as passing the salt, but just always ketchup.
Oh, okay, right. Your mom doesn't eat salt?
Well, she does take salt, but via ketchup. Like, she prefers salt with vinegar and tomato paste and other ingredients.
Oh, because there is salt in ketchup.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
not a lot.
Is there pepper in ketchup?
I'm going to say no.
We should manufacture
but I don't
that.
know.
Seriously.
Peppery ketchup?
Peppery ketchup. Seriously wrong brand.
I was just wondering if, since you were providing her with a service like that, if you ever charged her for that service.
Yeah, when she asked for the ketchup, I never charged. I never said $4 in exchange for this.
Yeah, it's weird, like, why some things in our lives we don't charge for. Like, we'll provide services to people for free.
Like obeying the line system at the store.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You get in the line at the store, not because anyone's paying you.
Yeah, or, like, butt in front of someone and just, dare them to say something. Like, just look into their eyes and stand in front of them and say, I'll be going in front of this woman.
Oh, that happened to me recently. I was like waiting in line for a ticket for the subway, and a guy like stepped in front of me in a really weird. He kind of like slid between me and the person in front of me, and like without looking at me, and like walked up from behind, and I was like, man, like, do you just step in front, like act like it wasn't a thing, and just like stepped right in front of me? And he was like, he turned around, and he's just like the worst person I can imagine. In my memory, he's just like this grotesque, demonic person, wearing a Canucks hat and just being like, but yeah, so he turns around and he's like, I'm with her, man. And like, she looks back at me and she's like, got a sassy eye.
Right.
And so I went through all of the struggle and pain of calling out someone in public for breaking the social order, but then I was in the wrong. I just wait in shame behind this guy in the line.
Oh no!
And then when they got to the machine, he already had a ticket. You know, she just went to the machine and he went with her.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I was just so wrong. I was just so out of line to call him out.
Yeah, shit. I never think to call people out, and part of me thinks that it's just because I'm like scared to, but part of me is also usually I'm like, oh, good for you. You got the balls to do that. Sometimes I wish I had the balls to just go in front of everyone. Like, I admire them a little bit.
I think I was just in a calling out mood, I guess. At the time, it felt... I was like, I'm not going to let this just happen. You know? We're all in a rush, buddy. But there's a system. This righteous voice inside me.
Yeah, no, and like calling someone out, like if you don't end up looking like an idiot because the person actually did it, then like that could be a huge rush, and that would be a really cool thing too. I support that also.
It's worth the gamble, folks.
And so like if I support both sides of this because I want to see those conflicts happen. Like if those fireworks start to go off, say like right in front of you, two other people in line, like if I had witnessed your event, like that would have been great. I mean, this was great too, hearing about it, but yeah.
I feel like if I witnessed it, I would console myself and be like, hey man, if everyone did what you did, it'd be a better world. Sure, you got egg on your face now, but next time you're going to be a hero. You're the truest hero that ever was.
There's this deep raw pleasure that you take, or that I take, and I think a lot of other people take, in just viewing conflict and seeing people clash. Like there was this Filipino preacher at the SkyTrain station. He was standing up on a little thing. He had a microphone. There was a few other people with him holding up a sign or like having pamphlets and stuff. And he was being very like zealous and like, you need to find Jesus, and like saying these things. And this woman came up to him and was just like, you can't push that on people. And she was getting all up in his face, and like she was talking to him, and he would like preach past her and not talk to her. But then like she would say something and he'd have to respond, and he would be like getting back. Fuck, I wish I could remember some specifics of what was said, but this was a few months ago now. Yeah, he'd get back up at her, and then she'd go back to him, and then he'd realize it was a mistake to engage, so he'd start like preaching out away from her again and just like walk away from her kind of, and she would follow him. And I was standing in line for the 99, just like watching all this. It was very beautiful. It was a beautiful moment in my life.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes public conflict is like too real for me. It's not always fun.
Yeah, if someone's getting hurt, I mean, even then sometimes, like if I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get hurt, maybe I'm a terrible person, but...
I was recently downtown with a friend, and we walked by this like group of guys, like I guess in their early 20s, all talking to each other. I didn't realize at the time there was actually an old guy with them at the time when we walked by them. But we stopped to... Someone like asked us for the time or something, so we stopped, and I looked back and I saw that the guys had started punching each other, and so we were walking towards them and realized it's not like a friendly fight between two guys. It's like all of these 20-something-year-old dudes are piling on one like 40 or 50-year-old dude.
Yeah,
and just,
see,
like,
that rubs me the wrong way.
Just really like piling on him and beating the shit out of him, punching him in the face. So me and my friend ran up there and yelled, and they like all skedaddled, and there's this guy on the ground, and he assumed that we were with the guys at first, being like, oh, go away. And we're like, no, we scared those guys away. Like, what happened? Like, why'd they start punching you? And he was He was like, he didn't say when he was on the ground. This is later that we found out what he said, but he called one of their girlfriends like a nasty whore or something. Like he like said something really offensive and misogynistic to one of them about their like
just in passing, he didn't know them, was passing them on the street or something.
Yeah, or like he was talking to them, and it somehow came up for him to either he had seen her earlier, or
okay.
He said something really inappropriate and misogynistic to these guys, so they all beat him up. And
see, and now I don't feel so bad about it anymore. Like, how beat up was he? Did he need to go to the hospital?
No, he might have needed to go to the hospital if we hadn't got in there.
Right.
If we didn't shoot him off like a bunch of crows,
picking
at garbage.
You got there just at the right time to make that story like minimum impact in terms of like feeling bad about myself for enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was entertaining afterward. Like after I walked away being like, got a good reason to be late.
I mean, that's why you're talking about it on a podcast too, because it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it correctly, identifies the instinct that we all have, the communist instinct that we have to step in and save each other from violence.
Oh, I thought we were identifying that carnal joy we all experience in watching other people hurt each other.
I think they're connected.
Or at least they're two sides of a pole, a yin and a yang.
Well, like, yeah, why did you think it was better for him to get punched because he was a prick?
Oh, hey, shit, those guys over there are spitting in that kid's hair. Maybe we should do something about that.
No, it's cool. That kid never does his chores. He's a little brat about it.
Oh, shit, yeah. Well, no, maybe it's deserved then.
Oh, did you see that? They pushed that lady down the stairs. Is she all right?
I'm sure she probably is, and honestly, I don't know if I care that much. Did you know that this woman actually said that she didn't support feminism?
What?
So basically she wants to just like live in a cave and be beaten by her husband anyway, so I guess that's what she wants.
Goes around, comes around.
Oh my god, those two men are stealing that other guy's diamonds. They're just running off with them.
It's cool, man. That guy's been engaging in diamond price fixing for like generations, and ultimately they were all stolen from indigenous populations of Africa, so.
Yeah, it seems like it's just righting the wrong then at that point. Yeah.
That person's tied up and they're covering them in gasoline. I'm worried they're going to set them on fire.
Oh, no, it's cool. That guy still doubts the allegations against Bill Cosby, even though we're like, almost 60 people now? So, I mean, he's gonna ask
fucked up
for it. Yeah, really fucked up.
Come on, I mean, like, even 1 you have to take seriously. 3, you're like, okay, this is kind of weird. But like, and then 8, you're like, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, so, once you're at 59...
Without a doubt. Yeah, that guy should be burned.
That man just ran over that woman, and now he looks like he's putting it in reverse, and he's gonna do it again. Maybe I should stop him.
It's cool, man. She cuts in line. I've seen her do it a million times.
Sometimes justice has to take place outside of the walls of a courthouse, and so, I support this.
That's the very definition of social justice. It's social justice and direct action, 2 of my favorite things.
Good for you, man.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. Run her over. You did great.
You show her. That's just not right. We all saw that. That's just not right. Like, why is it better for pricks to get punched? Is it better because in the free market of friends, people are voting with their feet and not being friends with him? or is it that we have interconnected social relations and we want to give positive feedback to pro-social behavior?
It could be those. It could be both of those, a little column A, little column B. I think, like, in terms of my experience of it, it's just a natural inclination that I find within myself. So I'm like, to want to see an asshole get punched more than to want to see a poor old man get punched. If they were like, give me your lunch money, old man, and they all beat him up for his lunch money and were like seriously hurting him, that's a way sadder story. The misogyny is like the real icing on the cake of, oh yeah, fuck him. I feel like just making a kind of mean comment, like, yeah, I don't know. in theory, I should be more forgiving of his misogyny if he's older because he had a longer indoctrination period in a misogynistic culture than I did.
Yeah, and those guys, but I mean, those guys are so much younger than him. It was really not a fair fight.
Yeah. Hyenas.
Yeah, just crows. Just a lot of crows. A murder.
Murder of hyena crows, circling with a kill.
Yeah, could it be that the interdependent nature of human relations, like the thing that makes me want to help someone on the street, that would make someone want to help me in the street if I was getting my ass kicked by 5 or 6 tougher guys, that's gonna happen before I die. I need the person to walk up and save me, otherwise I'll die on the street like a dog.
Sure.
Is the market analogy and the interdependent, like monkeys rubbing each other's backs metaphor? Monkeys rubbing each other's backs is my political philosophy. That was me trying to describe communism. Monkeys, rubbing each other's backs. I get it. Yeah, I don't know.
I like it.
I feel like they're two ways of describing the same thing through like different layers of like different cultural framings.
Yeah, they're two different constructions of what's going on, and I think they both tap into true things, and they're both incomplete.
I mean, you relish this conflict. You love the conflict.
Yeah.
Aaron Moritz loves conflict, but at the bottom, Aaron Moritz signed it.
I mean, we all do. Guilty pleasure announcement. I just finished watching season 1 of Polyamory, a reality show. Uh-huh. And it's terrible, but it's so enjoyable just to watch these people have relationship problems and like these complex, like two couples dating each other move in and like what the problems they face, like learning to live together and the different rules. And I don't know, it's thoroughly enjoyable. But yeah, I'm like reveling in their conflict and the occasional reconciliation and sex and stuff. It's got everything. Sorry.
I wonder, I feel like conflict was part of the appeal to politics for me. Like part of what pulled me into politics was the addictive nature of like having disagreements and then checking back on them and fleshing out arguments and then being right.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, being right. That's a big part of like why you enjoy conflicts. I think, and when you're like watching conflicts, you're usually on someone's side.
Conflict, I feel, is slightly different than like competition. Conflict and competition are distinct concepts. I want to split that. Like, what is that difference?
What's the distinction between conflict and competition? I think ideally in competition, okay, I think I'm having like the shape of a thought. I'm not sure if it'll come out properly, but in competition, you just want to do better than the other person. You're both trying to do the same thing, and you want to do better than them at it, and in doing that, you beat them and you win or whatever. But in conflict, you want to destroy the other person. You're not trying to do better than them at something. You might be. That might be part of what you're trying to do. But it's more about being against them rather than being so pro yourself that you want to be better than them. I'm kind of inventing this distinction, but
yeah, it's interesting because I was feeling like conflict would be less severe, not more severe.
Okay.
Because I was thinking of. But I find your description compelling also.
Sure.
Like maybe conflict both means a more extreme competition and a less extreme competition.
Because I was thinking in conflict, you might not even necessarily be in competition for anything. There might be no mutual goal that you're both competing for. It might just be like, fuck this person. I want to destroy them. I want to show that their arguments are wrong, or I want to punch them in the face until they bleed, or like whatever the conflict is. But I guess like conflict can also describe like a minor disagreement that's kind of bubbling under the surface between two people who really love each other, and like the example I'm thinking of is in a group of people, a dude in this group of human beings keeps on saying the N-word and no one's said anything, but he said it like more than once now, and it's like, so it's there, it's been said, and people are like
visibly uncomfortable about it, maybe sharing sharing glances about it. It's coming up, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time. No one stepped in. In the moment where someone steps in, it's not a competition at all. It's a conflict.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's not, I want to yeah, you're right. It's not, I want to destroy you.
I want to destroy the behavior.
It's, okay, well, it's an interaction where people are going into it with competing interests, and it's a win-lose in a sense. It's like for you to win, the other person has to stop using the N-word. And if they really don't want to stop using the N-word. This is Seriously Words, where we define conflict and competition.
Yeah, I just they felt different, but I couldn't pin down how.
Yeah, I still think like maybe taking away my severity that I was putting into it. Conflict is, I feel like, directed against the other person, whereas competition is directed. You're both like separating resources and shooting for the same goal and trying to do it better than the other one. Like, that seems different to me than... Because I feel like you can be in competition with another business and never communicate with them and never interact with them. But for a conflict, I feel like you have to be interacting with someone to be in a conflict with them. Like, it's a more it's more of an interaction.
Conflict is more personal, or if you're all playing a video game together and it's all good, you're all having fun, that's competition. But if you guys start yelling about it, that's when it's become conflict. Like, competition could happen within systems, whereas conflict always involves people more directly.
Yeah, now I have a problem with you. It's not just that I want to beat you at something because I want to be good, but I have a direct issue with you. I think competition often can foster conflict.
Maybe it's this confusion about the nature of conflict that makes call-outs around, for example, the N-word so hard to like happen, because it feels like they're trying to destroy you.
Yeah.
Like if you're saying,
yeah.
And then so people might get defensive, like even if it's really no matter to them to drop the word for the rest of the conversation or the day, they might like grab onto it and be like, this is my identity, like this.
I think
if you vanquish my use of the N-word, you've vanquished me.
I think what it is that someone's saying, you're someone who thinks it's totally fine for a white person to casually use the N-word because, hey, we all know we're not racist, right? We're not racist, so it's fine. And this word is, like, it's ridiculous that people ever use this word to marginalize anyone. That's terrible. And so we can joke about it. That's your opinion. And then someone comes in and says, no, it is racist because this stuff is still going on. So, like, you don't have yourself in the category of racist, and someone else is trying to put you in the category of racist. So if you accept their framing, you have to accept that you've been acting in a racist way. And by stopping doing it, by saying, yes, you're right, I'll stop doing it, even though it would be an easy thing to stop, then you're agreeing to their framing, and you're agreeing that I was doing something racist. And you don't want to agree that you did something racist because you've never done anything racist, because you're not a racist. There's a lot of momentum to just be like, no, what I did isn't racist. And I'm going to keep doing it to prove it.
And and I think that what you're saying is racist. And
you're saying black people can say the word, but white people can't say the word, even if they're both.
That sounds real equal. Sounds real equal.
Yeah, it's not. It's not equal.
Yeah, it's not. It's not an equal scenario.
Yeah, it's true. Salt? Did we ever want to get to salt? I mean, it's fine if we don't, but I was just thinking how odd the first few minutes of this is going to sound. Like, what is Aaron driving at with this salt thing? And then just got caught on another tangent.
Passing the salt at the table.
Yeah, the idea of charging for it. What was the exact, like, did we have a particular story? We were referring to the parable of the salt, and then I don't remember if there was an actual parable. Like, the dad asks the son... Or the son tries to charge the dad $4 to pass the salt.
I'm pretty sure this is from Debt, but I've read a couple different kind of like pop econ books recently, so like I don't know, they're kind of blurring together a bit. But I think it's in Debt. He gives the example. David Graeber gives the example of interpersonal communism, which is in his description doing something for someone not in exchange for anything, but because of the knowledge that if you were in need, it would be done for you. And he argues that this type of communism is inherent to people. All people, no matter their ideology, participate it in one scale or another.
Just like in your family, right? Like at least, and probably in other areas as well.
Yeah, and if not your family, then in a social group of some kind, or there's exceptions, obviously, probably. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
The amazing diversity of humans, but interpersonal communism is like, oh, you don't have any food today, and I've got 2 apples. You can have one of my apples, not because I particularly like you or anything, but because it's just a good thing to do. It feels right. Yeah, in David Graeber's little parable in the book is the dad asks the son to pass salt. The son says, sure, Dad, I'll pass the salt. Just give me $4. It's a perfect price. The dad gets mad at his son because, and David Graeber's argument is that the dad is mad at the son because what the son signaled by asking for money is he signaled that he didn't love his father because he made the dinner interaction a financial interaction. So you can't interact financially with people you love? Like, people say things like that, like, don't ever lend money to friends. It just gets awful. It's really easy for feelings to turn sour in a situation like that. But yeah, no, I was just wondering, like, what... I think his specific argument, or at least what I interpreted in my memory, shape of my memory of this, is that the dinner table is an interpersonal communist situation, and the son, by bringing the market economy into it, was indicating, I'm not part of your tribe. I'm not with you. I'm not alongside you. We are bartering right now, which indicates that I don't... The basic social rule of the interpersonal communism of the family has been pushed aside because I see you as a way to make money.
Right. And like we were talking about these different frameworks for looking at things, the capitalist framework for people being beat up. I can't quite remember how that was working. Versus the communist framework for the old man being beat up. In this instance, the capitalist framework for that might be just like maybe the dad is really angry because the son is charging an outrageous price to pass the salt. In the free market of the living room of the dinner table that already exists, the price for passing the salt has already been firmly set. That's a free service. There's lots of other places that will offer that service for free. It's like if you opened a store next to a pizza store that was selling pizza for $2 a slice and you sold the exact same pizza for $200 a slice next door. People are just going to be angry. They're like, most people will just not shop there, but other people will be like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing that? Like, that's... You're not playing the market game properly. And so that's what the son is signaling. He's signaling, like, I'm a bad businessman. That makes the dad sad.
The dad so said his son is so bad at business. God damn it, son.
You're not a Thompson. The Thompsons are good at business. My dad was an entrepreneur. Just you're setting the price way too high. No, you butter them up. This is what interpersonal communism is. You butter people up with the free stuff first. And a couple hits of heroin, a free spin around in that car. And then
here's your salt.
Here's your salt, yeah. And then it's like, bam, Dad, pay for my college. Bam, Dad, like that. That's how people usually run the family, you know.
Yeah, another economic metaphor that could describe the salt passing situation is comparative advantage, where the son being close to the salt has a near zero cost of passing the salt, and the dad has a much higher cost of having to get out of his chair, walk around the table, and pick up the salt. And so it's in both of their economic self-interest to pass the salt back and forth freely.
Right, yeah, because the son's going to want the salt passed to him at some point too. Like, we can't forget about that in this whole equation.
Yeah, and if he hoards the salt, it's going to start war.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if he doesn't pass that salt, he's gonna get sanctions on milk. He's gonna get sanctions on the bread.
Who knows? He might even get sent to his room without dinner at all. Like, you know, everything's up for grabs at this point.
Yeah, it's true. There's a hierarchy at this table. The son if he's being yelled at, there's a reason.
What a rambunctious little kid. Rambunctious kid just trying to go for all that money. $4. Fierce. Seriously fierce.
It's a fierce kid.
I admire him like I admire people who push in front of me on the bus.
It's just fierce behavior to call someone out.
Fierce.
Or
like sitting on the outside seat on the bus. I'm always like, good for you. You want both? Take them.
Oh, hell yeah. Spread those legs. No, don't. Just tight, real tight, but right on the aisle. Don't even use that seat. Don't even put your... Yeah, put that bag right on your lap. Inside seat.
Dude,
you show us.
Well, I feel like at that point they're signaling, like, please ask to go by me. I just don't want to sit on the inside because I like to be on the outside. I don't know. I'm fine with that because I like the inside. So when I see people like that, I'll often go past them because I'm like, I want to be on the inside.
It's like getting a little hug from a bus and a stranger.
Yeah. I like being able to lean up against the wall and away from them. And there's nothing to lean on, on the other seat. And if your son won't pass you the salt except for $4, that's the way I worded that.
Except for $4.
Then you feel like you don't have someone to lean on. You feel like you don't have someone on that end of the table willing to help you out. We're all at this table together. You gotta, if you want to charge more money for the service, you gotta up the service. Like, what else are you gonna do for me for $4?
Yeah,
like mom passes the salt for free. So are you gonna do salt and pepper? You gonna shake it onto my food for me and stop when I say when?
That's a $4. That's $4.
That's a $4 service.
Because I have $4 and I'm interested to hear what you can offer.
Yeah, who's the one with the money here? So let's see. Let's not ask about what I can give to you. Let's see what you can give to me.
Yeah, we should just open that up at the table. It's like, who has money and is willing to pay to see something happen, or just
have this dinner go their way in a certain way. I noticed there was a bigger piece of cake here, and who knows? Maybe someone wants to buy 2 pieces of cake, even though there's only enough for one for each of us.
Yeah, maybe one person is gonna not get cake because someone showed up to the table with $40.
Maybe that's how I'll run my dinner table.
It's how to show the family that there's love. It's how to show the family that there's love there.
That there's love in the market. You teach your kids that markets and love aren't incompatible.
Welcome to Keyboard Warrior Radio Theater.
What would be a humorous status update for my friends? Oh yeah, I got a humorous status update. Capitalists are so greedy that I bet you they would charge their own son to pass salt at the dinner table. Oh, look at those likes piling in. Oh man, such good humor.
Oh, just scrolling through Facebook. Let me see what I got here. Oh, God. Why am I even friends with these dumb commies? You obviously do not understand economics at all. The price for passing the salt has been firmly set by the market at 0, and you will not get a better price for it than that. You must give some services for free in order to charge for more valuable services. Passing the salt is not a valuable service monetarily. Here, if you actually care about learning, is a link to Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. Give it a read. Use your mind.
I thought there was no such thing as, quote, free salt. Read Econ 101, lol, 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 lol. I thought someone had to pay for the salt. You ANCAPs are really all the same. If I wanted to be referred to more moronic one-sided texts, I would just rejoin all the Ayn Rand groups I just left. Fuck off.
Conflation. Yes, of course, somebody has to pay for the salt. You think it got on the dinner table for free? You think someone just got boxes and boxes of salt out of the grocery store for nothing? Well, maybe you did because you're a commie and you like to steal things, but for responsible people who pay for their goods, we pay for our salt and then we pass it for free. Salt at restaurants may seem like it's free, but it's actually included in the price of the meal you're already paying for, unless you take more packets than you need for one meal, in which case you are being a thief. Which wouldn't bother you, because all commies love thievery and love stealing, and bask in the filth of their own immorality.
Lamau, it is hilarious how inconsistent and disingenuous you are. If you want to have an honest discussion on thievery, how about you address the history of stolen indigenous land? Most of the salt that you would ever be able to buy in a store is a resource that was extracted from the earth by capitalists that represents a theft from the indigenous populations of that land. Obviously, I wouldn't expect you to understand this. You're too busy sucking the dicks of dead white men. I hope you die in a fire.
Look, it's impossible to sort out every past historical injustice, and frankly, dwelling on such things is just a way to avoid taking control and taking responsibility for your own life and your own situation as it exists right now. The market always benefits the underdogs because they are willing to work harder, longer hours for less pay, and that means they will succeed if they try, always, every time. They can rise to the top. That's how the market works. Even if there was some theft of land in the past, all you have to do if you want to take that land back is work hard and apply yourself, which you'll never do because you're a lazy, slimy man-child. I bet you didn't even do any work for this computer that you're typing on. You seem like the type whose parents handed everything to him on a silver platter, including your silver MacBook. You corporate Apple hypocrite.
Lamau, honestly, I use Linux. Not that it's any of your business. Oh, yes, totally. The epitome of liberation is working long hours for small pay. You're right. The oppressed people of the world should totally work for you, your dad, and the financial masters of the world for long hours and low pay to have a hope at winning back a small fraction of their ancestral homeland, which was stolen by them through violence and barbarism. Your market ideology has poisoned your brain. I only wish that brain poison were literal poison, so you might curl up in a tiny ball and turn to nothingness, so I may reclaim a small fraction of the thievery that you are complicit in and a representative of.
Let's take a look at the facts. Fact 1. 2 wrongs do not make a right. The kind of world you're proposing, where people steal and then steal back in order to right the previous stealings and then steal again, is a world of rabid dogs chewing each other alive until there's nothing left but bones. The world I support is a world in which people interact voluntarily and rebuild from admittedly imperfect past into a more perfect future, using the means as the end. The end being justice, the means being justice.
Asterix steals all of Africa's diamonds, Asterix. Asterix fixes the price of diamonds artificially, Asterix. Oh, you would like some of your diamonds back? No, you have to work long hours for low pay if you want some of your diamonds back. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Admittedly, I did steal all of those diamonds, but I'd like to start a new leaf together, where neither of us steal from each other ever. Yes, I stole those diamonds. Yes, I stole all your diamonds. Admittedly, I stole all your diamonds. Me and my people admittedly stole all your diamonds. However, for you to get some of those diamonds back would represent that abuse, which admittedly I did, and admittedly my people did to you, being replicated by you. And to take those diamonds back would represent you admitting that us taking those diamonds in the first place was somehow just. Lamau.
I'm going to leave you with just one thought for you to chew on. If you ever decide that you want to learn about or practice virtue, I want you to know that I will be there for you because I am a caring, empathetic person who is willing to help out another person even when they've done wrong for their entire life.
Similarly, if your girlfriend ever needs a good dick, she can call me. Consider yourself blocked.
And we'll see you next time for another episode of Keyboard Warrior Radio Theater.
The argument I was making, I'm really partial to. I was making it in the most aggressive, angry internet commenter way that I possibly could. But, I do think we need to figure out some solution to that problem. I haven't quite got it down yet.
There was the Tom Woods show. He's a right libertarian guy. He did one in basic income recently, and the guy he had on there is the same guy who's written articles for Reason about basic income, and his arguments come from basically that place. Like, we can't figure out all these historical, like, there's no way to go back in time and redistribute Canada properly to, like, and we just give all property to Indigenous people, but like that probably isn't fair either, just based on what's going on now. So his thing is, because we can't wash out all these historical injustices, the libertarian answer is a basic income, because it's just kind of a leveling thing that says, yes, we know there have been past historical injustices and people are suffering from that. And like, we're going to accept that maybe some people who don't deserve it are going to get some money. That's okay, because this is more just than not doing anything about it. And also Georgist arguments. He used those two things, like the idea that land, the John Locke thing of mixing your labor with resources in order to create property. I guess there's a thing in there, in whatever text that's from, that people call the Lockean proviso, which is that when you're doing this, when you're mixing your labor with the resources to create property, it's only valid if you're leaving as much and as good for others. So it's like, yeah, you can just box in a piece of land and be like, this is my land. But once there's not enough land for everyone else to be able to do that also, then that changes the system. It changes the game. So the as much and as good thing is, I think part of what Henry George latched onto. I'm not sure if that was a connection he was making or that Henry George made, but yeah, I liked both of those arguments as ways to come at it from a right libertarian perspective, and agree with the.
Yeah, something that I when I was running for office recently. Hashtag 188 votes. When I was running for office and I was in a debate with the other candidates, I made the connection between land taxation and reparations for Indigenous people, which seemed to get a mixed positive and confused response from the audience. Right. I think the way that I was trying to describe how land is different than other resources, or like, because there's a finite amount of it, the shape of your country is defined by the land in it and stuff. Like, right. But yeah, I don't know. I was pretty high, so who knows if I said it right.
Oh, you did that debate pretty high?
Yeah, I smoked weed the whole election, to be honest. Like,
oh, no, I know, but like, I feel like if I was doing it, I probably wouldn't have smoked before the thing, or maybe I would have if I had been in such a place that not smoking would have been such a hindrance. Yeah,
that's where I was at. I was at the point, and like, I'm not smoking weed now, for the record, and I don't endorse smoking weed every day for the kids listening. At the time, I was smoking weed every day, and I think if I hadn't smoked weed that day, it would have not. It was a kind of like a centering thing at the time. And also, elections are really stressful, which, I mean, I'll elaborate more on in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I feel like if I was running for office, I'd be smoking weed every day.
Quote Tom Mulcair. So the thing I really like about this salt parable is the two angles on it that we kind of outlined, is that it just indicates that there's such an innate compatibility between these alleged contradictions. And it's something that I really enjoy exploring. It's like finding those compatibilities between these huge contradictions. The example of like the land distribution thing, like I think basic income is kind of an approximate band-aid for finding the middle ground. Looking at, like, I think really like capital L libertarianism, if you're really being rigorous and consistent, that type of libertarianism would look at the injustices to First Nations people in North America as a serious violation of the NAP that is so serious that maybe there's some way to deal with that now in the present. Since the non-aggression principle has already been violated, that maybe there's some type of way to fix that isn't in itself a form of initiating aggression.
Yeah, I just wanted to say again how much I like that line of argument, because I saw how effective it was in that Tom Woods episode. He had no real answer other than, like, we don't want to rush and do something that'll end up being even more unjust in the opposite. Like, we don't want to pendulum swing too far trying to fix this, that we do something unjust. Like you were saying, if you take the non-aggression principle seriously, then the historical justice argument is just there's some serious cognitive dissonance if you're trying to say that you support the NAP but that you don't support compensation for historical injustice in some sense.
I would encourage my leftist friends, my communistic friends, socialistic friends, when you encounter people using the NAP as an argument when you're keyboard warrioring and doing your due duty to the ghost of Marx to make sure that he's heard, for the sake of that conversation, I don't think we need to laugh off the idea of the non-aggression principle. It's a valid and interesting framework that our arguments, and I'm speaking as someone who identifies as left or has been identified as left by third parties, our arguments work in that framework because our arguments are right. Like, because our arguments have really good points. The worst version of someone arguing for NAP that you encounter is not really indicative of the principle underneath it. And the principle underneath it, if taken to its logical conclusion, I think leads to total technocratic communism. But that's just me.
That's a thing. That's maybe true. But it's the thing I really like about... because the way when I was listening back to this SALT thing, the first part that we recorded, I was just seeing how we're taking this one interaction that everyone basically agrees on, that you should pass the SALT to your family members for free, and using these two different frameworks, overlaying the frameworks onto this reality. Everyone agrees what the reality is, the situation, the moral choice in that situation. Every communists, capitalists, we all agree about that. And so seeing how this thing we all agree on fits into these two different frameworks and being able to move between them can be really helpful for having conversations with a capitalist person. Understanding how their framework also works to justify your conclusions is going to help you have better conversations with them that don't end up like this one that we just did in our keyboard theater.
As an advocate for the free market, similarly, understanding the spirit behind when you're talking to someone who actually identifies with Marxism or is just, like a leftist liberal or someone anti-capitalist, or all these different versions of people that you will run into that don't see the market the way that you do, you're going to be able to better explain the dynamics of the marketplace if you can frame it in terms of like interdependent. And I think that's the real strength of market arguments that really resonates with me. Ultimately, most free market people that you talk to, most free market ideologues are emphasizing the mutual benefit and are emphasizing the nonviolence of it and are emphasizing
the cooperation, the like people agreeing to work together to achieve mutually desirable goals.
In the way I feel about these dynamics in the marketplace, which definitely do exist, like the marginal utility argument, if I have 10 cows and you have 20 bushels of hay and I need some hay and you need a cow, my last cow is worth less to me than your last couple bushels of hay. Therefore, if we trade, value is introduced in both of our lives and there's a benefit. That to me is just synonymous with interdependence. It's synonymous with monkeys rubbing each other's backs. A monkey can't rub its own back. It needs someone else to, if it wants to get that back rub, which I know all monkeys do. Positive market transactions are a layer of abstraction added to this already innate interdependence. Or from the other angle, this innate interdependence is a market transaction without money.
It's a truth of human interaction. The way that we all naturally market with each other, that's the primary basic. And then the idea that we're independent falls out of how that actually happens. It's the secondary, it's a true secondary characteristic. Like, you're not going to find a market person who disagrees with the idea that we're all interdependent because they love society. The iPencil, if you've ever watched iPencil, it's about how you need a whole bunch of different people all working together to make something as simple as a pencil. And it's all about how the market is that cooperation, the cooperation that brings a pencil from a tree and the metal and the whatever the fuck erasers come from into your hand. So
the wild eraser beast of the African savannah.
You cut their tails off and shave them down to erasers.
It's really barbaric slaughter of the eraser beast. We could have eraser beast farms without killing them the way we do, but poachers, the cost of erasers is so high. It's just Yeah, putting the incentives in the wrong places.
Yeah, and then the animal rights activists are just like, end pencils, end erasers, and people are like, no, I'm never going to stop using pencils and erasers. And so
it's like, what did you write this essay with, if you hypocrite? Oh, yeah, animal rights activists never make mistakes, never need to erase anything. Get off your high eraser beast.
If they focus their efforts into raising eraser beasts right, killing them with dignity.
Yeah, providing a market alternative, moral erasers.
Yeah.
You can just, cut a little layer off the eraser beast's tail. You don't need to cut them off so much they bleed out.
I was trying to think of a way to keep this analogy with erasers, but I can't. But I had heartburn the other day, and I was like, I want to drink milk. And it was like 10 o'clock at night, so the only place I can get milk is the little store right there. So I have to buy milk where animals are horribly mistreated in order to get the milk, because there's no option at the convenience store for me to buy ethically raised milk. And I think animal rights activists could have made that happen by now if they weren't so focused on veganism. And we've completely veered into other territory.
Yeah, so it's your fault, vegans. Just kidding.
Kinda.
There's something interesting there. I mean, it's not your fault personally, but maybe if we looked at things a little less combatively. I mean, this is such a telling the entire world what to do. Obviously, like, they're not going to listen to this podcast and be like, you know what? You guys were right.
PETA, the whole organization of PETA is listening to this podcast, and they're going to be like, yeah, the focus on veganism is counterproductive to the goal of actually reducing the suffering of the animals that we eat for food. Yeah.
I'm so glad I listened to these 20-something motherfuckers who are just interested in getting to the top of the social signaling heap.
Yeah, that's where we should get all knowledge for society. 20-something white males trying to get to the top of the signaling heap.
Yeah, you're so right, 20-something white males. We fucked up all these years.
If only you could say 20-something forever.
Well, it's why we got to kill those immortality tail beasts. Hey, so this has been our show. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Sean.
Yeah. Aaron.
And we love making the show. Release an episode every week. SeriouslyWrong.com, SRSLYWRONG.com. You can call our toll-free hotline to let us know what you thought about the show, or share just ideas that occurred to you when you were listening, or something you want us to hear or you want us to play on the show. 1-866-770-8754. It's toll-free anywhere in Canada or the United States. I know you can make free calls from Skype as well, and I imagine that's international, although I haven't had that confirmed yet.
I think you might be able to do it from Google, too. I know I can call America from my Gmail account on the side for free. So, I don't know. Look into that, too. I know you can dial numbers.
When you say on the side, do you mean that your Outlook is your main email account and you've got a Gmail account on the side?
No, I mean the sidebar of Gmail. Underneath inbox, like all that stuff, there's a list. And then there's the chat. You open the chat window, you just type in a phone number. You can also do this through Google Hangouts. It's the same service, but it's right there in Gmail. You type in a phone number, hit call, and then your computer just starts calling the number.
We love doing the show, and if you love listening to the show, the best way for you to perpetuate the show's existence is to share this to your Facebook timeline, put it on Twitter, send it to friends who you think might like it, or send us a donation on our website. Every time we get a donation or a little email saying, I listened to this episode, it resonated with me, or you changed my mind about X issue, we get together, we do a little dance, and it really makes our day. So and thank you to everyone who's already done that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we had one this morning that we were both like, oh, so nice. So nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when I get them, I send them to my mom. I'm like, I'm not wasting my life. Someone told me that they liked it.
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah, I should send that to my parents and be like, see?
Fucking parents. I mean,
judging eyes, judging me, judging my life choices. So what? I'm almost 30. I'm just doing a podcast. Whatever.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, whatever. I'm a 20-something white male telling PETA what to do. So what? Maybe they should freaking listen, huh? I want to see these eraser tails harvest sustainably.
Being nice to them before you kill them, and even during the killing of them. Yeah.
It's a weird oxymoron, seemingly.
No, I understand that it's like, in one sense, it's entirely ridiculous, but there's actually is nicer and meaner ways to kill things.
Yeah, it's at least the spectrum. Like, if you have a strong opinion, hey, you could use that contact form.
Or the phone, like hear the emotion in your voice when you tell me how terrible I am for all this, because I probably deserve it to some extent. Like I'm being a little rude to the animals, I think. So tell me what a fucker I am. I want to hear it. What's that number? You got
It's
it.
1-866-770-8754. We will edit you to make you sound good. Like we're not gonna try to make fun of you or anything like that. That's not what we're about.
No. And people who do call the line are immediately in our good graces, even if you disagree with us, because that's sweet audio gold. That's sweet audio gold that we can just slip right into the show.
You're a printing press of value, and then we're able to.
And if you think that you're inarticulate or you can't talk well or what, it doesn't matter. Like we're not that articulate either. You just edit, and we're good at editing. You think we sound good? That's editing. And we can do that to you.
Think about all the tea sips that have been taken out of this episode. Hundreds.
We never stop. We're just...
There's nothing wrong with the way we love tea.
Yeah. I think it'll actually be soothing.
Thanks again for listening, everyone.
Yay.
You're wrong, he's wrong, she's wrong, you're wrong, and I'm wrong. We're wrong, seriously wrong. We're wrong, seriously wrong, 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 you're
Excuse me. Did you see that? I think that woman just cut in front of us in line.
Yeah, what the fuck? Doesn't she know there's a system? There's a system. Like, the line works for everyone. It's fair. Sometimes I wish that I just had, like, the confidence to do something about this kind of thing.
Yeah, I always tend to let it slide, but it never feels right. It always feels like I'm participating in their evil.
It's like letting the De Beers Corporation keep all their diamond mines. Instead of seizing them for the indigenous people of Africa.
Or like charging your father to pass the salt to you. Like it's just that viscerally wrong and awful.
Yeah, it breaks the social order.
It's cohesion and trust and everything that we value in society.
I'm kind of willing to go to jail. I got a truck.
If it's for greater justice, I think I know where you're going with this, and I think I like it.
This is what I'm thinking. We hop in that truck. We run her over. Just teach her a lesson, Give her a spook.
Yeah, definitely.
And you maybe spend the night in jail, but as soon as we explain our rationale, I think any judge is going to let us off. Lines exist for a reason.
Yeah, and you go breaking lines, all bets are off at that point.
She's violated the net.
Exactly. So an equal response of aggression is valid.
Aggression against me turns into aggression against you. Sorry, lady.
Self-defense. Yeah. You did great.
I just want to say, you guys, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
I wish everyone had that courage. I wish everyone had the courage to do what you two brave young men did. If you ever need sexual servicing, just come to me.
If you need bail, if you need to borrow a truck to do that again, I'm your man. And similarly, if you need sexual servicing, I'm your man. If you want to have some sort of like weird freaky orgy with everyone else in this line, I think we're all down.
We're all down. We're all down. Yeah, I'm down.
You are the greatest heroes that have ever lived.
Tickets, right? We're gonna pay for your tickets that we were waiting in line for, and now we're all gonna carry you onto the train. We'll carry you off. We'll carry you wherever you need to go.
We're in your service now, just forever. You are heroes among us, and we are lowly commoners, and I just can't articulate that enough.
I can't sexually service you enough.
You're gonna be tired of it before we are.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I mean, we love doing it. We love helping people. I mean, if you really, really appreciate what we did in running over that woman, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Use the contact form. Call the toll-free hotline. Give us a donation. Share it on Facebook. No, stop. Okay. Yeah, more. Sure. Yeah.
You. I will take the sexual servicing from you. I don't really need anyone else. No offense, but you. Yeah, you come with me. I choose you, Pikachu.
Great.
Next time on Seriously Wrong, we talk to an eraser tail whisperer and get their perspective on the Bundy Boys and the Oregon militia.